war on drugs is an issue that's been raging on in our society for quite some time, and no one really knows what to make of it. Do you really feel safer knowing that there were 80% more drug arrests in 2010 than in 1990? How many people in the United States are really planning on harming you or your family because they are on drugs? And how successful has the war on drugs been? What if the increase in drug arrests and prison size altogether had a different motive than we originally thought? As per usual in Real Money Mechanics, we're going to examine some of the facts and figures, and I'll let you come to your own conclusion. And as usual, feel free to share your own thoughts and ideas. The 13th Amendment was ratified by the required number of states in 1865, and is the amendment which officially abolished slavery, which is of course fantastic. The amendment reads, Section 1, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Section 2. Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. The important part of this amendment in terms of what we'll talk about today is this: except as punishment for a crime. According to California Prison Focus, no other society in human history has imprisoned so many of its own citizens. This is easy to believe because as of March of this year, the US prison population has reached 2 million. That is of course 2,000,000. 2 million is right around 2.8% of the entire Earth's population, by the way, all sitting in prison cells in the United States. 10 years ago, there were 5 for-profit prisons in the United States. Today, there are over 100. For-profit prisons, of course, open up a whole new can of worms in terms of incentives for locking people up, considering that the corporations themselves, as well as any of their stockholders, benefit from a steady amount of prisoners and a large amount of prisoners overall. According to reports done by human rights activist groups, the following are a few of the factors that actually make these prisons more profitable: jailing persons convicted of non-violent crimes, long prison sentences for small amounts of drugs, the 3 strikes law, which is of course life in prison after 3 felonies, longer sentences all around, laws with minimum sentences, which are a minimum amount of time in prison for a crime regardless of the circumstances, and a large expansion of the work done by prisoners. And of course, last but not least, more punishment of incarcerated prisoners so as to lengthen their sentences. So how does any of this relate back to the 13th Amendment again? Well, let's look at that language. Except as punishment for a crime. According to the Left Business Observer, the federal prison industry produces 100% of all military helmets, ammunition belts, bulletproof vests, ID tags, shirts, pants, tents, bags, and canteens. Along with war supplies, prison workers supply 98% of the entire market for equipment, assembly services, 93% of paints and paintbrushes, 92% of stove assembly, 46% of body armor, 36% of home appliances, 30% of headphones, microphones, and speakers, and 21% of office furniture. Airplane parts, medical supplies, and many other goods and services are also handled by prisoners, as well as training seeing eye dogs for the blind. So who actually profits off of this prison labor? Well, there are 37 states that have legalized prison labor for private organizations. The list of companies setting up shop in United States prisons for cheap, almost no cost that is, includes Texas Instrument, Dell, AT&T, Compaq, Honeywell, HP, Nortel, 3Com, Intel, TWA, Revlon, Macy's, Pierre Cardin, Target stores, and a whole slew of other American corporations. Thanks to this, profits within the prison system soared from $392 million in 1980 up to $1.31 billion in 1994. There are a lot of prisoners that do get paid minimum wage for their work, but nowhere near all of them. And most private prisons actually pay their inmates less than 20 cents per hour. Slavery, you decide.